We good?
Did you shave your head for a part?
Huh?
A roll?
No, I'm bald.
No.
I'm going bald.
I know, but did you? But you still had some stuff residue of hair.
Residue?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had residue. You know what I mean?
Yes,
You could have done
I
a
have-
Chernobyl thing that you were doing, but yeah, but you didn't. You just had to shave it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Are we going right now?
Yep.
No, we don't. There's no rules. But I'm
Okay,
I'm
okay.
just asking a question.
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna answer.
I understand that, but why are you? Your head looks like Darth Vader when he took his fucking helmet off. Remember that when he was just all fucked up?
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Is that the? That's fine. You're Bill Burr, but
I'm trying to answer your question.
Yeah, go ahead. I
The
just-
process of you coming out of the gate shitting on me.
yeah.
You know, when you start to lose your hair, you got 3 options.
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
and there's subsets to all of them.
All right.
Okay, you can do the Rogaine, the hair plugs, a
Right.
system, a fucking all of that. Propecia, a fucking they glue some shit on your head.
Right.
They take some of your pube hair and you get an afro.
Yeah.
Or you can just sort of let it happen.
Which you were doing, which I was like, that's the dope way to do it.
Oh, I'm glad I had your approval. Or you can just say fuck it
Yeah.
and do what I did. So I just said fuck it.
Okay.
But what if
And I do. Like,
you-
I love how you came at me aggressive, and now you got your those little panda hands.
I
up.
was. I love how you attacked my little panda hand.
Huh?
But
That's
let
what
me-
you look like. You look like a little panda.
I know. I was just because when you took your hat
like
off.
a little adolescent bear.
Oh, fine. I'll take that. They're cute. But
They're
what I'm-
adorable.
I know they're very adorable, but I was just asking because when you took your hat off, I was a little shocked. That's all. You know what I mean?
what are your thoughts on hair
I've
plugs?
had my head shaved for fucking 10 years.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, but you're always wearing little I know what you were doing. You were doing like you Reds love to do with like the Ron Howard thing, and you guys always wear that director cap.
Oh.
Right,
yeah.
and they hide it.
Prestige
hats. Yeah.
Prestige
No,
hats.
it's I don't want to catch a cold.
That too. That's also a very fair.
When you shave your head, if it gets cold, your head gets cold quick.
Yeah.
Your head gets really cold. So that's what it is. But I've had my head shaved like this for fucking like the better part of a decade. And I know I've been having consistent conversations with you. So I got to admit, I'm a little hurt.
Yeah. I think it was the way you took it off just now was very dramatic. And listen, let's start over. We're going to keep that stuff in, right? But let's start from the beginning. Let's do the introduction and whatnot, right? But I have to just say that
I literally just took my hat off. He looks like that dude in between the penalty boxes in hockey.
yeah. So start. Go ahead.
Five, four, three.
Mama, don't be. What's the Mama? I didn't kill a man. Something like that, right? What a great movie, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Really good movie. We got all the characters in the house. By the way, I was in the doctor's office this morning. I'm fine, but just FYI, little medical note. I had black poo.
Black or bloody?
Well,
Black
that's
is bloody.
Black is
Unless
bloody.
you
That's a good-
unless you ingest bismuth, which is in Pepto-Bismol, then you're
Over the weekend, I had black poo.
or iron.
Yeah, and I
Wait a minute.
yeah.
So if somebody said I had blood in my stool, they don't actually see blood; they see it's black.
Right. So the higher up in your GI,
Wait,
the blacker
wait.
it is.
What sort of background do you have?
I was a nurse.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
because you really came off like I was like. No, this happens a lot on podcasts. All of a sudden, I'm listening to a comedian like telling me how my liver works. I'm just like, wait a minute, who the fuck are you again? Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so you're a nurse. All right.
Yeah.
Tell them
so
about-
it was. So the higher up on your GI that the bleeding happens, let's say it's if in your
Don't
stomach.
talk shop. What's GI?
Gastrointestinal.
Gastrointestinal. Okay.
Yeah. The higher up
Everyone
there,
knows that. A pilot. All right, so
higher-
we're in the GI.
Yeah, the GI. So the higher up in your guts that the bleeding is happening, the darker your stool is going to be. If it's right at the rectum, then it's going to be more like what they call like frank blood, like brighter red blood.
Now, why do they call it frank blood?
I have no idea.
Meaning, like, frankly,
Yeah, like
That's-
frank, like
it's
obviously
obvious.
red.
Obvious.
Or it could be a guy, like maybe it's an actual guy named Frank.
Yeah.
Who had the first type of blood, and they just named it after the guy.
Yeah.
Now, blood in your stool, you're done.
No.
No.
No. It
I
could
mean, that
be-
just seems like
What do you mean you're done?
that's like your oil pants leaking. Your engine, the engine's gonna seize, and then that's just you hit a curb or something. I mean, I just feel like that is the it's the radiator.
It's not good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this. It's not good.
It could be as simple as an ulcer.
So we were in the desert, and I go, I just threw it out there.
Now, is an ulcer a simple thing?
It can be. It can be brought on by just stress. Even you can bring on ulcers by stress
no,
alone.
I-
Most ulcers though are brought on by this thing called H. pylori, which is a bacteria that just happens on people once in a while, and it causes like over acidity, and it causes your kind of
What are the warning signs of that?
extreme pain. Ulcers are painful.
Oh,
Okay, back to my asshole.
Yeah.
Can we go back to my asshole?
Please.
dude, that right there was the most I've ever learned on a podcast ever. And I think about 40,000 hours in, can I come back and just ask you medical questions?
Like there are comics that call her for medical.
But for really dumb ones, though, like Santino showed me a little like needle prick on his finger.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Do I need to go to urgent care?"
Esther calls you all the fucking time about shit.
I'm also not a practicing nurse.
Yeah.
How'd you get out of that and into this?
This asshole. He said, "You know what? You should
Tinder,
probably quit
baby.
your job and just
Hey baby, Tinder.
No, but I mean, it's an unbelievable asset to have on a podcast. Someone actually knows what they're talking about.
Well,
That is
I mean,
the
there are
reverse.
good
That
and-
is the reverse of my podcast.
Yeah, but dating her though, we live together, right? So it's like there's ups, and there are some good qualities, but also I can't win an argument ever,
well, not when it comes
right?
to
Ever, like I
black
can't win,
poo.
right?
Not when it comes to black.
Well,
poo.
anything really about politics. I'll just
no,
say something
politics-
dumb, and you'll be like, "No, that's wrong," or like she just.
Because you're arguing. That's not how you win an argument.
How do you do it then?
You get quiet. And you just go, okay, no, that's fine. It's fine. And then that fucks with them.
That's what bald-headed do.
It
Bald-headed people do that.
it fucks with them. You just go, like, all right, okay. All right, no, you know what? I'll work on that. And then they get nervous, like, oh fuck, am I being a nag?
Yeah.
It's the only word that scares them. And then
Can I give you the prognosis of my asshole though first?
I would love to know about the prognosis. Of your asshole. I've heard enough election talk. Let's talk about your rectum.
So I mention it, right? And they go, "Oh, we got to go to the doctor." I went over there today, and my doctor, Dr. Kawashiri, can I say his name?
You can't.
Well, you just did.
Yeah, you
Well,
did.
he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's one of the best. Don't bleep it.
Okay, I'll
He's one of the
I'll
best.
make it louder.
Yeah, maybe maybe there's some promotion there for him.
Oh, good.
Yeah, maybe start.
Does he specialize in Asians?
I mean,
I mean,
with a last name like that.
you know what's weird? He could. He could because
I go to my doctor, Dr. O'Houlihan. he specializes in cirrhosis of the liver.
yeah. Maybe I should switch it up.
Yeah.
Maybe I should get a black doctor or something.
Yeah.
It seems.
Could you be a little more woke and maybe
yeah.
go to another race for your doctoring? All right,
So he goes. I tell him the problem. And he goes, okay. So, Bobby, bend over. And I've never been like one to go, are you sure about bending over? Like I'm like, me, I jump in. If there's a party, I'll jump in. So I bend over, take my pants off, obviously, right? And
what did you do first?
oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting. I think I fucking
I
bent
just thought
over.
that was going to get a laugh.
No.
I thought it was a ridiculous question. Josh, you're going to break it. He just goes, oh, that's interesting.
No.
I
But
thought
that's
that was just gonna-
interesting. Because you,
I can't believe you're going to
because
answer this.
a normal person would have taken the pants off first and then
Then
bent
bend
over.
over, yeah.
But what you just said was, I did bend over first and then took my pants off.
Wow.
Right?
Of course
Which
you
is-
did. That's so fucking weird. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
And I bent over, and there was that moment where the doctor goes, you know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
What are you doing?
Ah.
Right? And I go, I know how it works. This is the way I do it. Right? So I bent over, then it was,
I like it. You made it weird back.
yeah. I reversed it on
You
him.
took control of the weirdness. I like it. Now he's weirded out.
Right. And he goes,
What are you waiting for, big boy?
so he does, you first you hear a noise like something's coming out of a tube,
Okay.
right? So he has to put the lube on and whatnot. He has the glove on. And then he doesn't, he Pearl Harbors it. I mean, I know it's Kawashiri, but instead of,
What is Pearl Harbor? Was he,
well,
he told you he was
didn't
doing it.
fly around the island. He went,
Yeah, but he told you he was doing it. It wasn't a sneak attack.
It was a sneak.
No, he said, hey, sit down next to me.
Because I want a 3-2-1. Don't you want a 3-2-1 when it comes to your asshole? Someone yelling that out. 3, 2,
I'd rather rip
1.
the Band-Aid off.
No, not me. Don't you want that?
Well, they're supposed to.
I will be entering your asshole in
Yeah.
3,
yes.
2.
So I can
they
clinch
usually-
or whatever my body does.
They usually say gonna be a little cold because of the cold.
He said
lube.
nothing.
You're going
I
to
bent
feel a little
over.
pressure.
Feel a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
pressure.
Is a classic medical.
And I bent over, pulled the pants out, and then banzai is what I banzai. Then he goes, it's just my index finger, right?
Yeah.
I go, no, that was your thumb, bro. He thumbed it.
You're positive.
I don't have reverse, you know what I mean?
Sight.
Reverse sight.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have I don't know if there's cameras in the room, but I think he fucking thumbed it. It hurt. Or I might have a tight asshole.
Or he has short fingers.
I never thought of I never thought of the third fucking option.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have
Maybe he's
short
got
fingers.
little hands.
Maybe he's got little hands.
You probably gave him a complex. He came home all moody, and his girlfriend's like, "What's the matter? I don't want to talk about it. What's the matter? It happened again. What happened? Oh, I put my index finger in somebody's asshole, and they were convinced it was my thumb. You don't understand. It's a man thing, okay?
Yeah. Maybe. I might have fucked his day up. But good news is that I don't know how he checks, but he goes, no blood.
Well, you're not
There's no
gonna
blood.
know for a while, sweetheart.
No, but he goes, that's a big thing. He goes, there's no traces of blood in the entrance of the calamari. So he's like, he said that, because I'm going to Hawaii Friday, so I don't want to be like, do I have colon cancer or?
Yeah, but you can't. You're gonna need a colonoscopy. You're almost 50.
Did you do one?
Yeah, it's the easiest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is going to smell like peppermint. And then 5 seconds later, it's like, all right, your ass is great. No problems. That's literally what it feels like.
Yeah, but she was saying
What sucks is
Yeah.
the day
prep.
before the stuff you have to drink is a little bit gross. But when you're weighing that versus dying of ass cancer, it's just like, all right, yeah, I'll choose this.
Yeah.
But dude, you literally go to sleep and it feels like you're asleep for 3 seconds and then you wake up. You can't, they're done. It's not like you're awake going, for like 45 minutes or whatever. I don't even know how long it was.
Wow. But they do knock you out.
Yeah, you're out. You
Right.
literally go, you're like laying there, you close your eyes, and it feels like 3 seconds later, and you wake up and it's done. And you know what happened, but you don't remember it. So it's a little unsettling.
Yeah. Is there as the day goes on, is there like there was something up there? Is there feelings of
No.
there was some intrusion?
No.
Oh.
It's like
yeah.
it's you don't even have like usually when you go under general anesthesia, you have like the whole, kind of loopy for a couple hours. The propofol, you're up and running. As soon as they pull that thing out your butt, you're good to go. They tell you to drive your ass home. You're like,
No. I had to have somebody with me.
Oh, that's why they didn't give you propofol. They gave me the propofol because I had a scope up there. And I had a scope awake.
Oh.
That was 2 weeks ago.
One time I gave you a scope up there, baby.
Oh, God.
Hello, raise the
Jesus.
roof.
Okay. All right. Oh, he's.
So anyway, I know you don't like hi. I know you don't like compliments. You get a little uneasy about compliments. So I just try not to swing it your way.
Yeah, why can't we just keep doing what we're doing here?
No, no,
I
because
think that'd be way more entertaining.
no, because it wouldn't be TigerBelly if I didn't, you know what I mean?
Make it weird?
Make
Okay.
it a little weird. But I'm just gonna tell you how I discovered you.
I do my whole career to you. I was
No.
I was struggling until
No.
Bobby Lee
No,
discovered me.
Oh no, not discover you in terms of like you did it on your own, obviously, but no, in terms of my awareness of you.
Oh.
Can I tell you that story?
Oh,
or
no,
no?
I remember it was a big day in my career. Bobby Lee is finally aware of me. Am I on Bobby Lee's radar?
See, this is what he's gonna.
This is when things start to happen.
See, I'm not gonna allow this to happen.
Reversal.
I'm not gonna allow this to happen.
Reversal.
Yeah. I'm just gonna plug away. You know what I mean?
Listen, you can talk to him all you want. I can hear it.
So
Plexiglass. It's not soundproof.
So years ago, I had no idea who you were, and I was in a car with Steve Burr and Ken Jeong, and we're driving from San Francisco to LA because we had to do gigs together at that time because we couldn't draw on our own, and so Steve Burr loved Oasis. So he kept playing Oasis over and over again. Like
He still does.
I know, right? It's like, give it a rest, right? They have 3 songs, good songs: Champagne Supernova, Wonderwall, and some other one. Okay,
Don't look back in age.
that's it. Great songs, but that's it. So we go, well, what do we listen to? And he goes, well, I have a friend from New York. You know, I have his comedy CD. And we're like, we don't want to listen to fucking comedy right now, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're fucking 8 hours in the fucking car. We have to drive fucking with some open micers fucking CD or whatever, right? He puts it in. No, it was very funny. But there was one bit about you in the subway, and then you saw some guy pick a girl up, and then your high-pitched voice, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I was grabbing her by the back of the neck.
He's hurting me.
Yeah.
Or the bit, right?
Yeah.
And we laughed so hard. And that's when, you know what I mean, went out, oh, Bill Burr. And then now you're one of the greatest comics on the planet. How does that feel?
What was that character you just? I don't even take it. You just said seriously.
No, it's just.
I'm plugging
you're one-
away. I'm doing all right. You're doing all right.
Well, it's great because of the fact that it's like, you know, here's the deal. The honest truth is this.
I just love that whole body line. Okay, here's
Here's the deal. Here's the honest.
it. Let's get real.
Let's get real. So, you know, I'm almost 50, and I feel like things are kind of slowly happening for me as well, right? It's just nice to see, like,
What are you
you know,
talking about? You've been on fucking television for like almost 30 years.
what are you talking about?
Mad TV.
Oh my God.
And everything else.
Okay, first of all, Mad TV was like doing community theater. That's how much we got paid.
I'm not. Well,
I'm just
but that happens
I'm
to
just
everybody.
telling you.
That
I know.
Oh, did you get fucked over in show business? Did you think there was a big pot of gold and then somebody else took it from you? Yeah, that's what happens. But you were still on TV. You still walk down the street and people are like, oh my God, it's Bobby Lee from Mad TV.
Okay, fine. You're right, and I'm grateful. Okay, but I'm just saying
The amount
that.
of empathy that I have for you right now is just awesome.
Thanks, Bill.
How much of your day is
Yeah.
trying to pick this up and keep it
Yeah,
buoyant?
I know. See, the thing about him, though, I have to stand. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
The thing about him is that.
I feel like I'm getting cross-examined.
Yeah. The thing about him is that he has ways. He's one of those guys like Whitney is like that too, where she sees me behaving in a certain way to garner some sort of sympathy. Or I'm doing something psychological, right? So that I can get something out of and he sees through it. Where other people they fall into it and they go, oh no, you know what I mean? And they, you know what I mean?
I've just been around a lot of dirtbags, so
yeah.
I've been taken advantage of a couple of times. I know when it's happening.
Yeah, but you could see through that. But I'm just saying that let's go back to what I was doing originally, which is you're doing well and congratulations. That's all I wanted to fucking say.
Thank you. I appreciate
God.
that. I appreciate that.
I mean, you're killing it. I love The Mandalorian, right? You all of a sudden, I didn't even know you were on it. And you have, when you're watching something you love, right? And then you see a guy that you know up there killing it, you go, oh my God, it's fucking crazy, right? And then he's in the Apatow movie, and a bunch of he's killing it. That's all I wanted to say. I know you don't like compliments.
I caught up to you.
I know you
Paul.
don't like compliments. Why do comics not like compliments?
I know. I think some of them do. Look, I respect, other comics liking what I do. I do enjoy that shit, but I don't want to sit here and just like listen to that.
You're giving him the worst experience.
I just
ever.
want to like hang out and make whoever's watching this laugh. You don't have to go James Lipton. When you did that shit joke on Comedy Central.
Yeah. Because this is your first time on this podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I need to get that out of the way.
I'm a big fan of it too.
Thank
I
you.
always put the little heart on all your clips. I always think it's funny.
Thank you. And so, from now on, when you do it, I will never bring it up, right? I just had to say it, to put it on record.
Oh.
Put what on record?
That how I discovered you, and how I feel
Oh,
about
got it.
how I feel
With a
about
discovery.
you. You know what I mean? How I feel about you. I feel just real good, tingly, warm feelings towards you. That's all.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and I think you're doing great stuff. That's all. We don't have to fucking talk about it.
Whoever knew that my career would come down to a car full of Asians driving up some German Irish guy from Massachusetts. Who knew? I needed the West Coast Asian connection
When
to
you
be
were starting,
discovered.
Time. Enjoy the rest of the show.
when you were starting in New York, was there a lot of minorities doing it back in the day, or no?
I started in Massachusetts. And
In Boston?
Yeah, and it was 99% white guys.
Yeah.
And there was a handful of white female comics, and then it was Patrice, Dwayne Perkins.
Dwayne Perkins was then back.
Well, he started a few years after. Gerald Bennett. I mean, it was like
Handful.
There was like 4 or 5. Yeah.
Well, you didn't
Greg
know.
Carey.
You didn't know Lauren Dombrowski back then, did you?
No.
Okay. Lauren Dombrowski is from Boston, from that scene.
Was she a Catch comic?
Yes.
The Catch comics were fucking amazing.
Yeah.
When I was starting out, then that was the scene that started the original alt scene. That was amazing.
Yeah.
The original 2-3 waves was amazing, and then it's just like anything else. Then it's just sort of like it's kind of like
Yeah.
leveled out. Well, you know what I mean. It was started by people that actually did clubs and had to perform in front of all different kinds of people, and then they wanted to stretch out. And then eventually, once all those alt rooms got going and they were packed, then you could start there, so you didn't have to learn how to make, mechanics and veterinarian, and this guy is a construction worker, and this person's a college student, all together. You didn't have to learn that skill.
Right.
And then I felt that like when I would do those rooms, I felt like I was on like it was almost like a radio station. Like I make white hipsters from 18 to 27 laugh. It was like a demographic.
Yeah.
Is what I felt. Whereas if I went to the comedy clubs, it was, black, white, male, female. It was all kinds of stuff going on, all different types of jobs, sobriety, and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, it's where alt rooms to me is like when I first played one, I go, I just bombed. I would say I bombed, but that's just the way they react, right? In terms of
they were. It was great for like 10, 11 years. And I'm going back to like 90.
All back in the day.
94, 95 when they first started coming around. Those ones that started in like New York, and I'm sure they did one here in LA too. I used to go and it was like Bob Odenkirk, David Cross, Dana Gould,
Patton, maybe.
I saw Patton
Yep,
there. First
yep.
time I saw Mitch Hedberg, I saw that. I mean, dude, it was fucking beasts.
Yeah.
Marin, it was everybody was coming up swinging the lumber. And then somewhere along the line, it's like anything. It was just like the comedy clubs. The comedy clubs were great. And then the reason the alt room started was because the comedy clubs got stale.
So they couldn't get in almost, right?
Well, I think I hadn't been in it long enough, but basically it was sort of the tail end of the hangover of the 80s, and people with their sleeves pulled up going, hey, what's up with that? What's up with everything?
Yeah.
I've been doing comedy 10 minutes, and now I'm a headliner,
Yeah.
And then that crashed, and then out of that, it was sort of an escape from it was so oversaturated and on every channel that there became like these expectations. Oh, do the airplane bit. Go into the dentist bit. There was all of these sort of Dennis Miller I saw one time is the basic recipe he was talking about, and because they were asking how he came out of that and did this totally different thing that he did. So that sort of went down, just died of its own weight, and then out of that when I started out. Like places like, you know, when I went down to New York, the Comedy Cellar, like you do nights that be 5 people in the crowd.
Oh, really?
Like the whole fucking night.
I always thought that the cellar was always packed
Yeah.
throughout its history.
No, they were struggling like everybody was, like during the week. The weekends, they would be all right, but during the week in the 90s, there was a period where it was, you know, it was like, and then there was this comic, Louis Schaefer, who's now in London, England. He started getting late night spots, and he would go out and he would bark because he wanted a crowd. And he had this really like funny way of being disarmingly in your face.
Yeah.
And like he had like these horn-rimmed glasses, and his whole thing was Louis Schaefer, not gay. I was like, Louis Schaefer, and he would just like yell across the street, hello, lovely black people, hi. And he became like this celebrity in the village, and he would just be like, Louis Schaefer, not gay, we have a comedy show. And he would do this whole thing, and he would like already have them laughing.
Yeah.
And he would bring them in, and then other comics who had to go on after him was psyched because you had a crowd. So then he started getting regular spots there, and then the barking thing sort of started with him. As far as I remember, it started with him. But then, you know, I would say like it started getting going again in the late 90s. And then it was starting to dip again. It was really like, you know, because the alt rooms were just where everybody wanted to be. Like those were the cool ones. There's this place, Surf Reality, where I saw these guys just doing crazy, amazing stuff. And then, but ever since like 9/11 happened, they were like, is anything ever going to be funny again? They've just been packed. And I think the reason that why there hasn't been another dip was because during that time with social media and all of that stuff, all these comics could suddenly be in charge of their careers and start putting out specials when they wanted to, and then that caused everybody to have to become prolific to survive. So then there was just all of this new stuff, and just everybody was just getting better. I mean, the amount of stand-up specials put out in the last 10 years, I bet prior to that, there's more specials put out in the last 10 years than ever. Because, you know, HBO would do like every couple, 2-3 years.
Right.
They would hand select 5 white guys and 1 white woman and a black guy, whatever that is.
I
7
used
people.
to love their young comedian specials.
Yeah, they
As a
were
kid,
great.
I used to watch them, you know what I mean? And I couldn't wait when they would, there was maybe 5 or 6 that I saw over.
Yeah.
That's where I saw all the people that I know today, you know what I mean? But it was like an event for me when I was a kid watching those things.
Yeah, and HBO those were the best ones. And
That's where you saw Hicks for the first time. Bill Hicks, Kinnison, one of the Rodney Dangerfield ones.
yep, those
Kinnison, right?
You know that club
Guys-
just closed.
What?
Dangerfields.
Why?
Yeah. COVID, man. They didn't make food, and I don't know how long can you keep that thing going. So that fucking place. Do you know that place for like 7 years? The reverb was there was like an echo on the mic, and I would be constantly, I had like a bit about it. Because if you started to yell, if you didn't pull the mic away, it sounded like you were down a well. So I used to do this bit about it.
Yeah.
And then finally, some guitar act came in there after 8 years, walked over to the mixer that was this big and just turned it down. And for 8 years, the sound was fucked up every single show.
Yeah, and somebody changed it by
Somebody just walked over,
wow.
did that.
Yeah,
That was it.
You know, I only played the Cellar one time, and it was for my showcase. I had already been on Mad TV and everything, right? And I was in New York. I had nothing to do. Like I had no clubs to play. I didn't know what to do. So I called Steve Burr and I go, "Can I play the Cellar?" He's like, "Well, Asti has to see you." So I go, "Oh fuck, I have to showcase." Yeah. So on a Friday night, late, I had to follow, and it was one of those places where you walk in and you see the lineup and you want to leave because it's like hard hitters. You know what I mean? Like Patrice.
He always wants to leave. He always wants to leave, and then he always kills. And then he kills, and then he acts like what he does is easy to follow. It's so stupid. He's up there with his shirt off, humping the stool. It's just like, dude, you think I want to go on after that?
Well,
Is this
first
me,
of-
by the way? Is this okay?
Yeah, it's for you. Yeah. Well, first of all, I've changed. Okay, I have changed.
I know, you're sitting up, you're pointing, very aggressive.
No. I'm changed.
Confidence, I like
Very
it.
confident. All right. I have changed. I used to do that shit. Yes. Okay. But and I know, and I'm aware of my actions. All right. But I had an out of body experience of like, stop doing that. Whitney called me out on it one night, and I don't do it anymore.
Don't do any what anymore.
When I look at a lineup, I go, no matter who's before me, I don't say anything out loud. I might feel some things, right? Because when you look at the lineup, you go, oh, fucking Burr, Rogan, I got to follow these guys. I don't outwardly say it. I just sit there. I don't leave. I man up. I fucking do the spot, right?
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Finally.
Yeah, I fucking do them now.
It's frustrating to watch. You go through that every night. He's so fucking funny and talented. It's like, when are you going to stop doing the tortured artist thing and just go up there and... You killed every time. I'm trying to think of a time I ever saw you bomb. You never did.
You nailed it. You do that tortured artist thing a little bit too fucking much and for too long.
Yeah.
It's fucking annoying.
It's so funny.
He pretends to play
feel-
chess.
Grow the fuck up.
Bill, he pretends to play chess and he pretends to read books and he pretends to speak to himself. When we first started dating, he would do this thing where he would just out of nowhere start like having conversations with himself. It's the whole tortured artist look.
What about that did you think was appealing? Just out of curiosity.
I'm sweating a little bit. I'll be honest with you. Okay, yeah. I used to perform. Certain things the way I sat. I told you the way I sat.
Yeah.
I don't like sitting like this. What I do,
Forced it. Yeah.
I forced my legs to do this, right? Because I'm more of a this kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm really a guy I'm like this kind of a guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The squat.
The squat, but
Gambling in Vietnam.
yeah,
I just saw like 9 Oliver Stone movies.
yeah. Hell yeah. So heaven and earth. So I saw a rock star. One time I was at a coffee shop, and I saw one of my favorite local musicians, in my city of San Diego, sit like this. He had no shoes on, and he was sitting like that drinking a coffee. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna sit like that. Yeah. So I would go home, right, and my legs wouldn't even do it. I'd have to, you know what I mean?
Painful. Yeah.
Painful. You know what I mean? For years, and now I can do that. And this is all an act.
What?
I don't want this. Hurts so bad right now.
Committed. Wow.
But if I'm at a coffee shop,
IT bands. You just need to stretch those.
yeah. But if I'm at a coffee shop, right,
Part of your GI.
I'll sit like this. I'll smoke like this, right? I don't want to smoke like this.
I didn't know you smoked. I have not smoked a cigar in forever, and I would have come over here and smoked.
You have a cigar in the car?
I don't have one.
So I do this, right? And I mumble to myself. I'm not really mumbling to myself. This is so embarrassing to even admit. But I used to do things, right, like that.
Like pretend to read Dostoevsky.
Yes. I'll have a Dostoevsky book. like the idiot. Never read it.
How old were you when you were doing this?
I would probably in my 20s. Right?
It's borderline. He's a late bloomer. Dude, we all did that. I used to do. I almost robbed a movie theater one time just so I could have something cool to talk about. Near women that I was afraid to talk about.
Yeah, that's what
talk
I'm saying.
to. Yeah.
We do things. You know what I mean? But that's not.
Why a movie theater?
Oh man, this is a long story, but like the dude that I knew, he had already robbed it.
Okay. You had already robbed it.
No, but this
It was doable.
This has been long enough. This has been long enough.
Okay.
So what he did,
Already did it.
I got to tell this story vaguely.
Okay.
All right, so let's just say there was this guy, right?
Yeah.
It's really just punk stuff. So he went to a movie
Yeah.
that nobody wanted to see, and he went to the last showing. And he waited for the 5-6 people that went to it. They emptied out, and then him and his buddy went up, and they stood behind the screen, and they just let them clean up and lock up. And then they locked up, and then when they went out, this is like the 80s, and then they fucking turned the Asteroids game around in Pac-Man and broke the padlock, got all the quarters,
Oh wow.
and then just went out the door. And by the time the alarm and the cops get there, you're gone.
Yeah.
So then he goes to me. He goes, there's a safe in the office. And I'm like, all right. I don't know how to talk to women.
Yeah.
This sounds good to me. So it's the same thing. Gonna go to some shit movie nobody sees. You stand behind the screen. And then when they leave, I go, well, they're going to lock the office door. And he goes, no, but they got the ceiling tile. He goes, you just push those things up and over. And then his idea was we were going to just take the whole safe because it wasn't big. And then take it out, throw it in the back of my truck. And I go, and then what? He goes, then we drive away. I go, how do we get it open? He goes, oh, fucking hit it with a sledgehammer and a blowtorch and shit. Well, here's the thing about a safe. Two things. You don't want somebody to be able to open it, and you don't want somebody to be able to pick it up and leave with it. I mean, they're heavy as shit. It was the stupidest fucking idea ever. And I was going to do it, and I called it off. And not even out of just, this is stupid. Something came up. And I called it off.
Right.
And, we would have been on America's Dumbest Criminal.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. How are we going to get up and over the door? Because this is the thing. There was a big glass lobby. And then the office was in the corner. So if you happened to be driving by and watching this dude giving me like 10 fingers, however the fuck we were going to do it.
Yeah.
And then, like, how are we going to get the safe out?
Right.
We don't have a two-wheeler. We don't have anything to put it on.
Yeah.
What were we going to do other than we were going to get caught? And I asked the cop one time what I would have got. I go, oh, you would have done about 3 years for that.
Oh, wow.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He goes, well, there's no gun involved. But he kind of broke the whole thing down. 3 to 5, you'd probably do half. 2.5, 3, you'd be out.
My cousin and I robbed a Ross Dress for Less.
I mean, rob the.
No, he went in pretending he had a gun. He was 16.
Oh my God.
Right? And when he ran in, without even anything happening, I drove away.
You left him there?
I left him there.
What happened to him now?
Because I thought I heard cops coming.
Yeah.
Right? He had just walked in. Cops are coming. It was just like
He's
an
like a
instinctual.
thief hypochondriac.
It was like an instinctual, and I just left him there, right?
Yeah.
And then he turned out, when he walked in, he didn't do the gun thing. He just tried to steal some shoes because he had like a toy gun that he was gonna, right? But he went to juvie, but I ran away from home. I lived in my car in Orange County for a week, right? And then I called my mom. But yeah, that was real scary. That's the last criminal thing that I had done. You know
I think it's even more criminal that you left your own.
I'm a coward. I'm a coward. I already know that. I already own up to that shit. I'm a coward. I'm weak. You know what I mean?
We had one where you cover up the license plate with snow, and then the person goes into the liquor store, acts like they're going to buy the case of beer, and then right as you get up to the register, then you just run out, jump in the car, and you take off. So we sent the flakiest friend we had for some dumb reason to go in and do it.
Yeah.
And he ended up he chickened out, right? And then every weekend we would do it, and every weekend he would chicken out, and then that became the bit. Let's just send him in there, watch him bitch up, and then just stand there and be like, I don't have an ID, and we would die laughing, and then we'd try to get somebody to buy booze for us. So one day we were like day drinking, and we were fucking hammered, and we were in my buddy's station wagon, me, him, and this dude, and we went to this liquor store, and I was like, all right, dude. I didn't even cover up the license plate. It was the summertime. All right, go over there and do it. So I'm sitting there with this other guy, and we're just laughing and sitting there. And he goes, he's not really going to do this, is he? We go, nah, he's not gonna do it. He's just going to chicken out, and we'll find somebody else. It's a funny thing. And then all of a sudden, we just heard this commotion. And he comes running around. I'll never forget. He ran around the corner, and he's looking back instead of running. He's uncoordinated, and he's got a case of beer, and he's looking back, dude. And I swear to God, the fattest chick you've ever seen in your life is right on his ass with a pencil and a fucking pad of paper. So now we're starting to drive away. We're going, come on. He's running. And I got the tailgate down on the station wagon.
Yeah.
And he dives in. And as we're driving away, I hear her yell out, like, she's like, BX958, I got it.
Damn.
And then my buddy driving is almost in tears. He's like, dude, what the fuck did you do? Why did you do that? You said he wasn't going to do it. Like, he always chickened out. We got to get rid of the beer. So we go into this. It's just typical punk suburb shit. So we pull in, and I'm hammered.
Yeah.
I grab this case of beer and I run up this guy's lawn and I see somebody vaguely in the driveway looking at me and I throw it under the shrub and then run away with the guy. The owner of the house is looking at me. That's how drunk I was.
Yeah.
We get in the car, we leave. Long story short, my buddy's neighbor was a cop. He recognized the plate. And then he goes, oh, gee, it's my jerk-off neighbor. I'll handle that after work. And then what ended up happening was the dude who did it and the dude who drove got in trouble for it, and they didn't bring up that I was there. Oh. So then they went to court, and I was like, well, there's no reason for you to go because they don't know. And then they had to pay some fine, conduct unbecoming a good citizen. And yeah. They got like community service and shit like that.
That's like East Coast Goodfellas shit. You don't rat.
Yeah.
You don't rat.
No, that's straight across the board. You don't rat, which is what's so funny now. All these comics trashing other comics on social media. I just don't understand that. It's just like, you've become like comics already get shit. Why would you go if you don't like somebody special or or whatever? You don't like something that they said. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's a new phenomenon.
There's a lot of new phenomenons this year, and I don't want to get into it, but
Let's get into it.
No, because it's going to deal with stuff that we don't want to talk about, like
okay.
cancel culture and whatnot. You know what I mean? But in terms of like
people
ratting people out, and you know what I mean, and it's been a difficult thing, you know.
I have an SNL character idea. It's called Twitter Lawyer.
yeah. Twitter Lawyer.
Twitter Lawyer, do you have any opening statements? Yes, Your Honor. I'm all out of fucks. That is the funniest opening statement to just burning down somebody's life. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's
But
my generation would have been doing the same thing if we came up on computers and stuff. It's a weird sort of thing.
You think it's not a new mentality? You think it's just access to a keyboard?
No, I think it's the power of not being face to face. Where when I was growing up, like there was a rule when I grew. This is so funny to hear now, but when I was growing up, there was a rule. You went to a party or somebody invited you over, you do not bring up politics and you don't bring up religion. And then like social media is the inverse of that, where it's just like everything you're not supposed to bring up, you bring up, and all rules of common decency are just out the window. And you know, the whole, hey, I can't, you know, as a guy growing up, there was always that, you know, there's that line. You learn where the line is. If I go past that line, I'm risking getting the shit kicked out of me. And that is sort of, you know, it's like disappeared.
It's funny because like even I have to admit, like I've discovered a couple of comics that I love that could be, you know, Republicans or whatnot, right? They're not out, but you hear rumors. And my initial response is,
what is wrong with that?
I know. I'm just, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, they're not out.
Yeah. They're not out as Republicans.
No, you know, they keep their stuff private is what I meant.
Yeah, because liberals are out of their fucking...
I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah,
But just,
good Lord.
Listen to my fucking point, though.
Okay.
Let me finish my point, okay? My initial reaction is like, right? But it's like, no, I'm just going to make up a name. It's Joey. He's a good guy. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like, it has nothing to do with, we're in it. Just listen, Bill, right? We're in a volatile, like.
I just love how judgmental the left is. You don't know anything about, he's a good guy. He is still just Republican.
I understand. But at the end of the day, it's like all these, even now because of of politics and the election, all that stuff, like I try not to like let it ruin or dictate how I feel and whatnot, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make who you are as a person, you know what I mean? Your political affiliation. You know, there's good guys everywhere. There's bad guys everywhere.
Shouldn't you have a wide variety of people in your life?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It goes back to those alt rooms where it just became like, it was just, everybody was, it's like, it was the echo chamber of it that was what I found fascinating, to go in and do comedy in front of like, that like if you were to graph the people in the room, like it was almost like a straight, like there wasn't this guy does this and this person's over here. It was just sort of like, you know, like a what do you call it? All the dots were like right there.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah, which made it like I don't know. It was so easy to get into trouble
Right.
during your set there because it was just like there was just one place where you could score.
Right. You wouldn't
know-
have a Brian Holtzman in a room like that.
I mean, I would.
I
That's exactly where I would put them, and I would,
I know.
and I would film it. And
Yeah.
but no, I think
That's why I watch.
God, I just find that like that stuff fascinating. I try to I definitely I joke about politics and shit like that, but I'm not going to get on somebody because they're like if you say you're liberal, I don't then think like, oh, that means that you're this. I mean, there's this spectrum of being on the left. There's this spectrum of being on the right. And I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that we maybe learned something over the last 20 years of just everybody just shitting, like half the country just shitting on whoever's. I really feel like the first George Bush was the last guy who was kind of allowed to be president without half of his country trying to take him out of office.
Yeah.
It kind of started with the Clinton lying under oath about the blowjob. And then it was Bush stole the election and Obama's not from here. And everything Trump did was just like, I mean, I don't know how that helps people, but
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
And I think we're at a precipice.
And that's why I stopped giving you shit, Bobby. I was just like, you know what? I need to bring the two coasts together. All right.
But here's I want to.
Is that old boy right behind you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! I got a horror movie but for people at home. He told me about this movie like 10 years ago, and that one, and then The Audition.
Auditions.
Oh my
Well,
God.
you invited me to your birthday party one time,
Yes.
and I brought you the DVD of Old Boy as a gift.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and I told you to watch it. And
Yeah, and it freaked me out. And I actually, one of the most amazing scenes I've ever seen, the way that they shot the main character is got a whole hallway of people that he has to fight. So they built this hallway
amazing.
and they cut out the wall and just had this guy, and they just all a one shot of them going down. Everybody talks about like the Scorsese, Goodfellas shot, that amazing one where he goes in. This is basically that with like, he's also fighting 500 people.
Yeah.
And then I saw The Audition, and I got into like, Asian horror movies and like, but they were so beyond what we were doing over here. I was like, this is like bananas.
Yeah.
I saw a really weird one, not necessarily scary, but a weird one on the Criterion Channel. I saw there's a horror movie from the early 70s called Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
No, really.
I swear to God,
I
that's
love
the
horror
name of it.
movies. Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
Yes, and I'm telling you, not necessarily scary.
Yeah.
As much as it's weird.
It doesn't seem Korean. Is it Korean?
No. It's-
Jessica.
Jessica.
That's right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Jessica.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
Yes.
It's not scary.
It's weird. It could be, because here's the thing about horror movies, why I don't like them, is I buy in. Always.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, Blair Witch, that didn't scare me. That scared the shit out of me.
I know, me too.
All of those movies scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
That Babadook one,
Yeah,
I
that
stopped
one.
watching.
Oh, Babadook.
I shut that off. I was like, I can't fucking handle that.
Well,
so then I didn't get to see how the thing gets killed. So for like a month, every time I turn the lights off, I'm hearing Babadook. Every fucking time. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of, I don't.
The scariest one I've seen in the last
Is an Indonesian one.
No. The one that I want to recommend them is. Did you see Hereditary?
Hereditary?
Yes.
No, and I won't be. Because if it freaks you out, I'm
No,
not
no.
the-
I'm easy to scare, but that fucked me up.
It fucked. I've seen it 3 times since we saw it that first time, and I get so fucking scared. You have to watch it, Billy, please.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, please
Because
watch
I don't understand. What is it? Why would you want to feel like I hate that feeling?
Me too.
Like I can watch like a gangster movie, or whatever, but I even watched like Casino. Got too like
Yeah.
got a little like when he's watching his brother getting killed. I was just like, Chris Rock is in the new Fargo,
Go.
and there's a storyline in it that's making it
Unwatchable.
as a parent.
Yeah.
Sort of, I'll trust you with my kid if you trust me with your kid. Just trying to get through that.
Yeah.
is just like I don't know. I get like why I love movies is because I if I'm into it, like I'm in it. I'm in it.
I can't do rape scenes. There's this movie called Irreversible, and there's a 10-minute rape scene in a tunnel, and it's so realistic, and literally like 10 seconds in, you're like, all right, I'm out. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's so
Oh, I
uncomfortable.
remember when that movie came out.
Yeah.
I remember when that came out because that was a big deal.
It was a controversial.
Does it go backwards? That
It goes
movie?
backwards the whole movie.
Yeah.
Right. And there's this like, and it's like, you don't have editors? Cut it down.
Can I tell you what I've never understood? I don't understand sex scenes in mainstream Hollywood movies. I don't understand. It's like, am I now watching a porno?
Yeah.
Like when they really go.
Yeah.
Because I watched an old movie one time, and these the couple was gonna go have sex or whatever. And they just, they kissed a little bit, and then they walked to the bedroom door, and they closed the door. And that was it. And then the next morning they came out. So you knew they banged.
Yeah.
You didn't have to watch them like
Yeah.
what is simulating fucking. Like it doesn't advance the story.
Yeah. I saw The Last Tango in Paris with Marlon Brando when I was a kid. I rented it. Yeah, I thought I was going to watch a romantic movie, but this is pretty good. I mean, that's how like explicit it was. I mean, they have.
Back then though, what you had to do to get a porno, it makes sense that you'd watch The Last Tango in Paris to jerk off.
Thank you.
That makes sense. But now it's like there is online
Pornhub,
porn.
right? I don't have
wanna
to
go.
I don't want to see that in a movie.
Which, dude, I quit drinking 2 years ago and I quit porn in May.
Wow.
Yeah. It's finally just like
Yeah. You're
done.
done. You're done.
I'm done.
Wait, did it become a problem?
Yes, because I was watching it and not doing anything. I was finding humor in it. And I would just be like, now, why did they do it like, why did they say that?
So analytical.
Yeah.
And I was
Critiquing it. Yeah.
yeah, like I was watching it like I'm trying to think of a different topic if I was into like classic cars. And I was just watching, learning about that.
Yeah.
And I was just sort of like, and it just sort of became, you know how it is. It's just like something like, oh my God, that's gross. And then like a month later, it's not that bad. And then you're into that, and then you move to the next room.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
just keep going down Dante's Inferno. And then it just gets to a point one day where nothing does anything, and then you just kind of like but you still. And I'm like, what am I doing? And then there was a couple things that I just watched on the whole like sex industry. What do they call it? Human trafficking. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of contributing to this.
Yeah.
So, not getting preachy here. So,
No, I mean, even with, I don't get angry, but I stopped watching porn. But it got to the point for me, and I love you so much, but where before when I was a kid, I would go to like F Street bookstore, and you'd go in the back room, and it would be like everything was sticky, the floor, and you would lock the door, and it had those buttons, and the buttons were like filled with cum. It was gross, and you would put coins in it. And you would jerk off. That's the only way I could watch porn back then.
When you guys were younger, you never looked at like the weird German porn with the college girl like having sex with her German shepherd.
that didn't exist.
Yeah, how did we get that?
Like, it
'cause
was
this
like,
was-
that would be like on some fucking lunatic's reel-to-reel underneath their house. Like, I don't know. It was like, the big thing was if you found a Playboy
Yep.
buried in the woods.
Yeah,
Like, that was the level of it. And there was like, there was that, or like Filene's Basement catalog would come, and there'd be the bra page.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, there wasn't, it just wasn't. I'm glad there wasn't, that there wasn't, because I think, like, something I still can't understand is how wide open the internet still is, that if, like, now that I got kids, if they get a cell phone, it's just like, they can just go on, or one of the kids at school go, hey, here's somebody getting their head sawed off. As
Yeah.
a kid, and it's just like,
it's fucking disturbing.
well, it's disturbing how that is just accepted, but, stand-up comics are getting all this shit for fucking stupid jokes.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
none of it makes sense.
Yeah.
Where they go,
Yeah, it's even like when the internet, when I was back in the day when Jordan Peele and I were poor, right? When the internet which started to happen, YouTube and whatnot, they had like, the dark web was just out there. And one day I just go, hey, watch this Russian guy get his head chopped off to Jordan. And he didn't talk to me for a year. It fucked him up. He goes, don't show me shit like that. You know what I mean? That's how disturbing. And that shit's still out there. You can see human beings getting chainsawed for real. It's
I
insane.
wanna see, yeah.
It's insane. There's got to be some sort of, but then it's like, we got to be free too, though, no?
Good point.
Don't you think?
Very.
I never watched any shit like that.
You
I
can't.
never.
If
no.
I showed you something like that, you would.
I wouldn't watch it. I don't want to like. I don't want to
Yeah.
look at. I don't want that on my hard drive. I don't want to see somebody getting tortured or killed or any of that type of shit. But I had a roommate. That would that would find something horrific, but it was more in the porn world. And
Like what? Like a horse?
And I would just be whatever.
Okay.
It'd be always be a still picture or something like that. And we would be sitting there watching TV, and then he would just go, "Hey, Burr," and then I would look over.
Yeah.
He would have his laptop turned around,
Yeah.
and that was his idea. I mean, I thought it was funny. Like that shit was because it was just sort of like, some naked old lady or something.
Yeah. But as now you're a dad, right? I mean, does things change? Because as a comic, we're thinking about all these fucked up things, and what I mean, and it's trying to.
My act has not changed.
I know it hasn't
my
changed.
thinking of fucked up things, my behavior around the house
Has changed.
That's why I quit drinking, because it was like I was getting hammered at home. It was one of the deals where going out to a bar was starting to become a pain in the ass. So, but I had never brought booze home. I never had it in the house, so I never had a problem with it because I always had to go out to get it. That's where I fucked up. That's why you never buy cookies, because if they're in your house, you're gonna eat them. You
Yeah.
just don't buy this shit, and then it's just like, I want to eat some bad food, but it's way out there, and your laziness will keep you in shape because I don't want to go out there. So booze was the same thing, and then I made the mistake of learning about it. So then I was like, ooh, this bottle here, and then acting like I'm not a drunk. So. And then there was all of this, I got into conspiracy theory and the Ponzi scheme of our money system and all of this shit. And it just became too fucking heavy. And like, my wife's like, you got to stop. This stuff is fucking nuts. And I went completely the other direction. I got out of conspiracy theory and I started watching Me TV. And I was just watching all these classic shows during a simpler time, if you're white. A friendlier time.
Yeah.
And I would watch it, and then everybody on there was smoking and drinking and shit. And I would sit there drinking with them.
Yeah.
And I would watch 77 Sunset Strip. I'd watch Peter Gunn. I would watch, what are the other ones I watched? I just watched, Mannix. Like all these gumshoe shows. I would just watch these things, and I would just fucking get hammered. And then then all of a sudden I had a kid, and I was just kind of like, if anything medically goes wrong right now, I am like too drunk to drive. Like this is I want to be, and I also don't want to be that guy, because I saw kids that I went to school with when I was kids whose parents sort of openly drank in front of them. They were sort of the first ones to really start getting after it, and I just was like, all right, I don't want to do that. And then I quit drinking, and then I dropped a bunch of weight, and then my self-involved vanity shit kicked in. I was just like, oh, I kind of like this.
Yeah. But, I've never even thought of, there's two comics in my head. I'm like, I never thought of having kids, you know what I mean? But years ago, Al Madrigal invited me to his house, and I had dinner with his kids and his wife. And it was proper. We put the thing on the thing, and then the utensils. It was nice. Candles, you know what I mean? It was real nice. You cut things, you know what I mean? And you're very proper. But you could see just the relationship with Al's kids. They're wonderful kids.
Right.
And him. And I'm like, maybe I want to have a baby. But this is going to go to you now. I saw you at a party once with your daughter, and you were playing soccer with her on a field, right? And I'm sorry. I mean, you just never. I never imagined you playing with children. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you didn't. The way you just put it.
No, but in terms of like, it wasn't like you frolicking. You don't look like somebody that would frolic.
You frolicking?
Or like, you know what I mean? Be in a, you know, just in wheat, and running.
He always.
What backyard was this?
No, I'm just saying.
You know what this is?
What?
He brought it up. He got uncomfortable, so he's trying to make me uncomfortable.
No, I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. I'm just saying, I just, would never see you, maybe with butterflies and running through a field. But I was watching you, and it's weird.
Were you on mushrooms when you were
No. I was just
Was I running in slow motion?
No, I would just look at you, and you love your daughter so much. And you were playing, and she would slip, and you would giggle, and you were like, and I thought to myself, I think I want a kid. You know what I mean? Because that just seems fun, and it seems like Bill's having fun,
It's fun.
No,
right?
It's
It's
amazing.
a life changer, correct?
Yeah, and whatever you have, whoever the parent is that's the opposite sex, they get a little bit more. Because it's like if you guys have a daughter, right? She's gonna be the disciplinarian. She's gonna be seeing through all your daughter's bullshit, going, she's totally manipulating you right now, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be a puddle of mush.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
And then she's gonna be like, oh my God, I feel like the bad guy. But then you have a son, and then it flips. And then it's just like, you're gonna be like, oh my God, my little man, and blah. It's gonna be like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're gonna be all like,
You
going
can't
like,
see that shit? Yeah. Oh,
no,
wow.
don't let him do that to you. He's, like,
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. But like, no, I'm all in with my, I if you saw some of the shit.
Like what? Like paint? Like do you do pottery stuff and paint?
Oh, I'm beyond that.
like what do you do?
I can do her hair. I can I can French braid. I can do the whole. I can get her because I had this horrible feeling that one day my wife wasn't going to be there, and she was going to have to go to school with her hair not looking the way she wanted. And I remember going to school every day with orange hair. What the fuck that was like? So I remember that. So I was just like, I'm going to make sure that you're looking all right. Now I'm like totally fucking into it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because now like I see shit in like women like in movies and stuff, and I'm looking at their hair trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah. I bet you do this. I don't know. I'm not at your house, but do you watch programs with her, like
You know
entertainment?
what's the best thing
What?
is she's into Bugs Bunny.
Oh wow, classics.
Yeah, but you got to watch out because there is some old school Bugs Bunny. They got a little bit of blackface in there, and they got a little bit of
there?
we were at war with
That's Donald Duck. That's not a
with
blackface.
Japan. So there's some war propaganda.
Oh, I see.
It's
Yeah.
kind of funny when they do it to the Germans because it's white on white, but the other way it gets a little crazy. But, if you stay with the mainstream ones,
Yeah.
it's fine. And what's awesome is we got in an argument about Bugs Bunny. Is she's convinced that Elmer Fudd's name is Doc. Because he says, "What's up, Doc?" And I'm like, "No, that's just what he says. His name's Elmer Fudd." And she's going, "No, his name is Doc." And I was going like, "No, it's Elmer Fudd."
Yeah.
And she got really upset. And so I just, all right, it's Doc. It's Doc. So
Yeah.
I have to wait till she's emotionally ready.
What is that?
Some of the
Propaganda?
Japanese propaganda.
Oh,
Oh, that isn't bad.
Kim Jong Un.
Yeah, it's classic.
Yeah. It's classic.
No. There's worse than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely.
I mean, the eyes don't seem that slanted.
No, that's not a good example.
Yeah.
It's just every once in a while, and there's like little subtle things.
Right.
The swans versus the ducks.
Ah,
Shit like that, where and it's real subtle, and you just kind of sit there going like,
Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah.
yeah. Then I just defer to my wife, and she'll look at me and say,
Do you want more or no?
"Oh man, I would if I didn't start so late, I would definitely have more, but I think we're good. I think we got one of each, so I'm psyched."
Sweetie, I'm telling you right now, okay? No, let me just say something, okay?
In front of Bill?
Yeah, in front of Bill. All right, I think I'm ready.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Congratulations.
No, but just hear me out, okay? Okay. I'm a man of change. Okay, I've changed a lot of things about myself. Okay, and I'm healing. A lot of the trauma stuff, all that stuff. I'm trying to heal it up. I think I'm. I'm sorry. I think. Please. I think I can have one. All right. So just. All right. Good. Anyway, at the end of the. Okay, just think about it. At the end. What the fuck?
The body, I just loved all of the body language in all of that.
My knee's pointing that way.
All right.
He does this a lot.
Yeah.
Like if he wasn't already such a man baby, I would probably have had 6 children by now, but because I feel like he's like 6 children and one human panda, it's, you know,
I do. I gotta. You gotta like.
Go tell me.
Well, you say you throw yourself into things.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a kid, you have to do that. That's not something that you can kind of be into for a minute.
Bill.
this is what he said during our couples counseling. He was like, yeah, like when she's pregnant, I'm just going to take more road dates. And when the baby's born,
It was a joke.
it was not.
a fucking joke into fucking couple
No,
sessions.
but if she's pregnant, like in the beginning, when you're fine and everything, you can, yeah, you got to stockpile the money. And
That's
then-
what I'm
and
doing
then-
for the fucking
No, that-
collecting
then-
the nuts.
then
The squirrels collect the nuts during the summer for the winter.
No, it's a good move. And then the 2 months after, like the month before,
Yeah,
and then the 2 months after,
I'm there.
you stay in town, and then you just do quick hits after that.
Right. See, there we go.
And I don't care if you get a fucking night nurse.
Yeah, we're gonna get a night nurse, babe.
Yeah, sell everything in this garage if you have to. Get a fucking night.
yeah.
Kevin Nealon said that.
What? Get a night nurse?
If you have to take a second mortgage, get a fucking night. No, it's that whole idea of just doing it by yourself.
Crazy.
Yes, it's a long
No, do
fucking
it.
thing. All right, well, that's not like the old school. That's the new school way that people tried for 30 years that failed horrifically. Because everybody else, it's just like old school countries. It's like you get married, you move right down the street, and just every day both in-laws are over there helping.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they let the mom sleep as much as they possibly can. And I had a friend of mine who used to be in the corporate world, and he applied for a job on the East Coast, and he got the job, and then they moved him like all the way out to like Oregon. And he got to know somebody in and he ended up hating the job, and he got to know somebody in HR, and he goes, I just don't understand why they moved us all the way out here. And they goes, well, that was the strategy, is so you're less likely to quit because you don't have any friends out here. And that whole separation of families, you had these younger people having kids, even if you have a job, like you don't have the money to get help. And like, I mean, just do you remember that time that guy left his kid in the car, his twins in the car, and he freaked out and everything, and like how could you do that? Lack of sleep, lack of help.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was devastated that it happened, but that's what the fuck that is. So you should get as much help as you possibly can, and that whole fucking thing of like, you walk around like a zombie, with
Yeah.
like 20 minutes of sleep while holding a baby. Does that make any fucking
No.
sense?
That's the one thing I found really shocking when I moved to America, because I grew up in the Philippines, was how nuclear everything was here and how unsupported it seemed like, at least from my vantage point, how unsupported a lot of like mothers were.
No, it's
because
brutal.
at least in my family, everyone's a nanny. Everyone is available. I always say, if you're new parents, travel to the Philippines. It's the easiest place to travel if you have a baby. You pass that baby around. It's so friendly. No one complains about a crying baby. No one complains about rambunctious toddlers. It's so like community based in that way, where it's like if my aunt or a woman in my family has a baby, there's 8 women in our family who can take care of that baby at the drop of a hat. No questions, no pain, no nothing. It's just part of what we do.
That's how it used to be. But we grew up the different way.
yeah.
And
Well, there's a documentary called Happiness, right? And it's just, examples around the world of people, what happiness is to certain people. And they focus on Okinawa, right? How in these towns in Okinawa, people live, there's more people over the age of 100 than anywhere else in the world because of the sense of community, right? It's like, a kid can run down the street and no one's worried that there's going to be a van, and you know what I mean? Because everyone knows each other. Everyone's kid is everyone's kid, you know what I mean? So it's like you're just completely safe and everyone helps each other. And I just wish that this country could just get to that point, but it'll never will because we're a corporate capitalism.
no, it's a period we're going through. I just don't think it can last.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it'll get, redone.
I just would love a situation where we could just feel safe and we know our neighbors. And
I also don't think it's as bad as everybody thinks it is. I really believe that like negativity at this point, because media is so splintered and there's so many different things to look at, that negativity and shocking shit is the only way to get people to stop flipping or scrolling or whatever the hell it is that they're doing. So they like, they give like, it's a false forecast every day of how fucked up things are. You know, for as unsafe and fucked up as they say, you know, what has happened to you?
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing.
I really like your head, man. Before I attacked you in the beginning, you know what I mean? But I really like it.
I didn't feel you attacked me. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, were you coming from a place of negativity?
The reveal.
At the end of our podcast, we do a thing called unhelpful advice. We have emails. People have problems and they email us. I don't know why. But go ahead.
Unhelpful advice with Bill Burr.
Hey guys, like Bobby, I've had a real tough time early life. I'll spare the details, but I'm 25 right now, and I consider my life up until this point to have been extremely difficult. I've been working extremely hard to better my life in my adulthood, and I'm happy to say that things are slowly getting better. However, I just can't help feel frustrated that I've spent 2.5 decades in my life just miserable. How do I get over this and move on with my life without being so bitter?
Wait, what's the problem?
That's
What's
easy.
up? What's up? Yeah.
I think it's really just comes down to he feels like he's wasted literally 2.5 decades of his life.
Can I just say something? That in my 20s, I don't know anyone. I don't know. I guess maybe there's a couple people that I know, but in my 20s were the roughest years of my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Then I started stand up. Right, it was really difficult in the beginning, and I have to say, it just gets better as I get older. It really has. I'm just happier, and things are just easy and seamless, and things. You know, I just know who I am. I just think that it's the age. He says he's 25. At 25, I was fucking miserable. Were you happy at 25?
I thought I was.
Yeah.
I was I was happy because I was doing stand-up comedy, but like
But financially,
about 25, you know, the fact that he knows that he's unhappy is a great thing, because I didn't even realize I was angry until I was like 33. So at 25, if you already know that and you have a good work ethic and you're working hard, like your 20s, I mean, it's kind of hard in your 20s not to look back on your childhood and be like, what the fuck was that? Unless you had this ideal childhood or whatever, but grew up in that community you were talking about. But I think that's totally normal. And for someone who throughout his 20s and 30s took out his childhood on the world before I finally realized that I was the asshole, I think you're way ahead of the game. You're being too hard on yourself.
yeah.
And 25, I would love to still be 25.
Oh, my God.
You're like 25. I remember turning 25 and thinking like, fuck, I'm old. And it's just like, I mean, I'd love to be 37 or 41.
I
There's
know.
all of those numbers sound great to
I
me.
know. But one day we're gonna want to be the age we are now, so we should
Yeah.
just be appreciative of what
Exactly.
we
So
have.
just go after what you want to do. You know, you see somebody that makes your heart stop, go up and say hello to them.
Do you have somebody that has a
There you
real
go.
problem?
There you go.
We hear
That
your
is,
problems,
don't
sir.
don't
We
don't
hear your
belittle
problems,
his
sir.
No, it's a great problem. No, it's a
old
real.
cunt.
It's a great problem. I'm just saying, like, you know, maybe some disability or something. Throw it out there. Come on.
You damn kids! You damn kids don't know what problems are.
All right, here we go. I'm 14 years old, almost 15, and I have a dilemma. Lately, my
Wait, he's 14?
she's
She's 15.
15.
All right.
Lately, my parents have grown apart, and I even heard my mom utter the words, "I'm done with this relationship." After hearing those words, I felt nothing. For the past few days, I've watched and seen how my parents no longer casually talk to each other, and now I've seen, for the past few days, my dad sleeping on the couch at night. Although whenever I think about my parents divorcing, I can't seem to cry or feel any emotion whatsoever. So my question is it normal for me not to cry?
Yeah. That's I was in a I forget when I adopted the I don't care mindset. Somewhere about 8. I just was like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't need anybody. I don't give a fuck. And that was the beginning of walling off my emotions. That's a traumatic thing for a kid to hear.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as like how you fix that, I mean, that's like some therapist shit. I
But
would think
you-
maybe you say something to your parents. I know you guys had that conversation. I should be upset that you guys don't want to be together, but I this is causing me to pave, because this right here is a critical part. Because if you start paving over your emotions, it starts to affect who you're gonna date and shit like that, and it's gonna be, you got some psychos coming your way.
When you build up these walls as a kid, though, right? You don't.
By the way, none of us have a psychology degree.
No.
Do you do any of this with like some sort of disclaimer?
No, it's called
Unhelpful
unhelpful.
It's called unhelpful advice.
Unhelpful advice.
Yeah, so don't listen to us.
Oh.
Yeah, please don't listen to me.
Oh, then should I give stupid advice then?
No.
What is the stupid advice?
No, but I try to be sincere, but don't listen to me. I'm an idiot. That's the clause. I'm a fucking moron. I don't know anything. But here we go. Here's my 2 cents. But it's like, my parents were immigrants. They didn't speak English at all, right? My dad was an alcoholic. My dad used to beat the shit out of my mom in front of me as a kid, right? I built up these walls, these defense mechanisms. I used humor as one, right? But I was just like, I had no communication skills. I didn't know how to share anything. I was just bottled up. And it's like, I don't have the language to communicate, either know the Korean language, but it's also the language of feelings, right? It's like, it's just one of those situations.
Wait, your dad only spoke Korean and you didn't know how to say stop hitting my mom in Korean?
No. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. You know what I mean?
Should have learned.
I should have learned it. Yeah. But they didn't have those apps. Maybe in this
Duolingo? Yeah.
right? Yeah, Duolingo. Maybe I could have done that. Right?
I've been doing that for 118 days in a row.
What Duolingo?
Crushing it, yeah.
What language?
French.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Say something.
Huh?
Say something.
Well, what do you want me to
Something for anything in French. I want to hear you.
say? Oh, okay. J'ai raison.
Wow. What is that? Jay-Z? Something
That
about
means
Jay-Z?
I'm right.
Oh, I'm right. Okay. Right. I feel bad for this girl, but she might not have the language to express that, and you might have to deal with it in therapy later.
There you go.
Okay.
But it's totally normal.
It's normal. Yeah.
Yeah, totally normal. They're just
not
completely shut down.
Do you want to plug anything, Bill?
Yeah, I'm got a run of dates we're putting together in the beginning of December. I'll be in Texas. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
At where? Houston.
Dallas, Houston, and Austin. So that's.
Are you doing theaters or clubs?
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm fucking in parking lots. I don't know where I'm at. It's COVID.
Yeah.
In Dallas and Houston, I'm gonna go pro Biden, and when I go to Austin, I'm gonna go pro Trump.
Wow.
And I'm just gonna annoy the shit out of them.
Have you been going up a lot to prepare, or you don't need to?
No, I absolutely need to. I've been doing. I did one the other night. I did Big Wangs in the Valley.
Oh.
Yeah, I did that one. That one's basically standing in the foyer area where the crowd was like out on the sidewalk. It's funny because it's just like I'm going back to doing gigs that I did before anybody who knew me.
Yeah.
So I feel like in some way, sometimes I'll be on stage bombing in these places, and I'll be like, "Did I dream that I made it, and I never did?" And then the drugs are finally wearing off, and I never got out of doing these fucking. I mean, it's so bad at this point. I was in Jersey, and we were pulling into some store or something. I saw this big patch of green grass, and I swear to God, I thought, yeah, you could do a stand-up show there. And I would never think that.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but I still, I've had so much fun in a way doing them. I was doing one. I was standing on a patch of grass behind a motel, and I was making fun of this split entry house because they'd put a brand new roof on, but they didn't paint the shutters, and it just looked so fucking. It just made them stick out.
Yeah.
And I was shitting all over them, and then all of a sudden this lady comes walking over, and she just walked into the middle of where everyone was sort of socially distanced, and just started talking to me. It was like not a show. She didn't even feel like she was interrupting, and she was just going, "I shouldn't have to sit here and listen to your filth." And and I was just like, "Oh, I didn't know you could hear me. I'm sorry. I was trying to find a solution," and she just wanted to yell at me, and I just kept saying, "I'm sorry. I could talk a little quieter." And she just kept yelling at me. And then she started going like this, and I was like, "Don't you wag your finger at me!" And it became this hilarious thing.
Yeah.
And I just shit on her in her house the whole way when she walked back. But then I found out she didn't live in the house.
Yeah.
She lived across the street. And there was somebody in the house, and they were actually on their porch enjoying the show.
Oh,
and I was trashing his house.
Yeah.
So there's been a little bit of
Yeah, I haven't
know,
done it
just,
since I have not done it since the pandemic. I'm afraid I don't know what it is. I just, the shows that I've been invited
go
to.
down to the Magic Castle parking lot.
Really?
Yeah, they're all in cars. It's hilarious.
I should try, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like dying. This is a lot. I mean,
Oh, because I remember back in the day when in like the 90s and into the 2000s, back when comics would get like sitcoms, and you get to somebody who like really, the sitcom hit and it made it into syndication. They got, back when there was syndication money, they had all that money. Then they just get bored and they would come back down, and they hadn't done stand up in like 5 years or whatever. And like comedy's like music. Like it went from hair metal to grunge to then Eminem and those boy bands came out. Remember that? Like how much it changes.
Yeah.
Comedy is like, you don't notice if you're there every night. You don't notice, and you sort of change with it. And the young comics keep you young and like relevant in your own old guy way. But I saw more goddamn people come down who they were just getting that fat check. And it's just like, man, I don't want to go down to the store. I don't want to go on the fucking road. And you'd see them come back. And they were like, "Hey, take my wife." Coming down with almost this old school thing. And I watched a couple of really big guys fucking just eat a dick.
Yeah.
And you saw the look on their face, like, what the? I have to learn this all over again. And then I never saw them again. They just said, "Fuck it."
Yeah, they never learned the room changes, right? Like Michael Richards. I saw Michael Richards literally come back after Seinfeld, and then the whole debacle at the fucking Laugh Factory happened. That racist tirade. But that was because he just didn't have the skill set to deal with this new audience, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I wasn't there that night.
Yeah, I know. I know you weren't there, but I'm just.
Yeah, but I hate trying to guess what a comic was thinking, or like, did they get mad? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it was. Whatever he decided was not the way to go.
I know. I know that wasn't the right way to go. But do you think? In my head, I was thinking it's because he's been out of the game for so fucking long that he doesn't know how. And the room changes, right? And he just didn't know how to deal with the elements that was like had changed. Because back in the day, maybe they didn't have hecklers or whatnot, or or the respect was,
You know what's funny? I understand exactly what
Cut
you're
that
saying.
part out.
But you were
cut that whole fucking
saw
part
you
out.
you were
like,
saying
Yeah.
in
I'm
such
digging myself in a hole.
a stupid way.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they didn't have hecklers. They used to fucking throw fruit at people. At least they do on Bugs Bunny.
Yeah. Anyway, so check Bill Burr out. Cut all that out.
You can check
Log
me
in.
out in Texas.
Texas, and
I'm gonna make fun of whoever you voted for.
and I just I just love the guy. He's like one of my favorites, and
If you loved me, you would have made eye contact when you said that.
no, I'm shy.
You're looking away.
Try right now.
Don't.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy, huh?
Let me try it. I want to try it.
I don't.
You're right.
Can I tell you something?
No, I gotta try
I'm really having difficulty with that lion's mane of hair that you have right now.
No. Let me try it.
You look like a lion with
Bill.
big head.
Bill, let me give you a shot. Let me just let me have a shot.
Okay, I want to. Speed. Roll sound.
Background, action.
I just wanted to say to your face that I'm a real big fan of your work. I enjoy you as a human being.
I'm not buying any of this. Cut. You were acting.
No, I'm not.
You are acting.
Oh, let me do it for real.
You were doing
Go
a
ahead.
character,
Okay,
like
yeah,
when you were
all right.
crossing your legs.
All right, you're right.
pretending to
You're
play-
right. Go ahead.
All right, reset to one.
Just say action. Just say action. Go
Background
to reset.
and action.
Honestly, dude, I really enjoy you. As a comic. I.
Power through, Bobby. It's a test.
Power
Power through.
through.
Power
Why?
through.
What the fuck? That's
Power.
fucking rude. Do it again.
I love that. That
No,
was
just
one
do
of the,
it. Do it. I'll be real and sincere.
that is one of the few times I've actually seen the real you.
Yeah, go ahead.
And action.
The honest truth is that I've always respected your comedy. You're a really nice guy, and I'm just happy to know you, and I'm just really grateful that you did our podcast. And I know that I'm gonna know you from now. I just know that we're gonna do stuff together, and we've done stuff together, and it's just a real joy. And I think you're a cool dude.
Well, I sit right back at you.
All right.
You crushed it. on that thing that we made for that thing that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And we're gonna try and
But I
find
believe that that's going to come out.
I do too.
I really do.
That's
believe
a
gonna
teaser.
come out. It's a teaser. It's going to come
this
out.
guy,
It looks so
we're not gonna
fucking
say
good.
with who, but with a big star, and
Yeah.
you went blow for blow.
Yeah, it was fun.
I see
But
this
give Bill
spin-off.
Burr a round of applause,
All
everybody.
right, thank you guys
Yay.
so much. God bless all of you.
BillBurr.com, everyone.
All right.
That was fucking great.
I have never been so insulted.
Syukulugi mo sa laman, feed ang bukugani ay makabalo.